Okay, please go subscribe to this channel, Africa Reloaded. This is starting to become one of my favorite channels here on YouTube because these guys are putting out great content, great coverage on what's happening on the African continent. This is a channel that I wish existed just 10 years ago or even 5 years ago. Maybe they've been around that long, I don't know. I need to check their description section, but they have 266,000 subscribers. That means they're doing something right. They're putting out content that is much needed here on YouTube. There's so many Africans in the diaspora out there that need to know what's going on the African continent because there's a lot of instability in the West right now. The West is collapsing. The United States is not doing well. Europe is not doing well right now. And all of these people that were living in these places are starting to wake up and say, man, I thought I had it good, but I'm seeing what's happening in Africa over there. The Africans look like they're coming up right now. The reason why I'm playing this video is not because I'm from this country. It's mainly because this is a great case study of how Africa is turning around really, really fast. If you understand the history of Zimbabwe, if you don't, please go and read up on the history of Zimbabwe over the last 25 years. It's quite interesting. I remember when I was younger, meaning in my 20s, this place was a laughingstock. I would still tell people that I was from Zimbabwe, but they would just be like, oh, you Mugabe. I'm like, yeah, Mugabe is a G. What are you talking about? That's my man right there. Rest in peace to the OG. If it wasn't for Mugabe, you guys need to go do your research, homework. If it wasn't for Mugabe, a lot of Africans wouldn't have land right now. It's not everybody that has land that deserves land, but you know what I'm saying? He changed a lot of things. We're only seeing the benefits of what he did decades later, 2.5 decades later. But back then, everybody is busy complaining. But that was a major chess move back in the day. Ultimately, the richest man in Africa coming to invest in Zimbabwe is a major, major deal. He's only dropping $1 billion, but this is such a big deal, guys, you have no idea. You will have some idea if you understand the history of Zimbabwe. Nobody wanted to touch this thing. For a long time, nobody wanted to even go to Zimbabwe. That's how bad things were. And I was just in Zimbabwe recently. That place is, it's coming up. I mean, we don't have a currency yet, but things are working there. Things are moving. And things are moving so well that I have never seen so many white people in that country just hanging out. And it turns out these were the same white people that left 25 years ago. So this is the second generation now of people that owned these big farms that were confiscated by the government 25 years ago. There's a reason why these people are coming back to Zimbabwe now. Because there's more peace, quiet, and freedom there than the places that they migrated to over 20 years ago. Some of these people migrated to the UK. Some of these people went to places like Australia, New Zealand, the United States, what else? Parts of Europe there. And they stayed out there for a long time. But things don't remain the same always. Okay? Things don't remain the same always. They started to see the cost of living, quality of life wasn't so great over there. Let me use the UK as a perfect example, because I remember when I graduated high school, because I went to high school in this country, everybody was going to the UK. Everybody. That was like the thing. As soon as you graduate, man, I gotta leave. I gotta go to the UK, go to university over there. But the UK is not working as well anymore. People are overtaxed over there. NHS is collapsing. By the way, the NHS sucks. It's a dump. If you're still working for the NHS and you think that's a flex, I'm sorry, it's not a flex. You know what's more for flex? Saying that you retired from the NHS and you came to Africa to invest your little savings and you grew that little savings into something. That's the new flex right now. Not being burnt out, being used by the NHS, getting paid low wages, you know, because that's a trap. A lot of people that left Africa, that's the path they were told to take. They were told, go to the UK, get your nursing degree, get into the NHS. That's a sure bet. Guaranteed. Oh, that's guaranteed money. You will not lose with this deal. Never lose. Where are they now? They're struggling over there in the UK. Struggling. They can barely pay their bills. The NHS is collapsing. Cost of living is nuts. It's depressing. They're lonely. But they're seeing, like when you go through something like that, you start to look for alternatives. And thank goodness for YouTube now. It's showing content like this one and other content of, how people live here in Africa. And they starting to wake up like, man, I remember, because a lot of these people, now they're in their 40s, now they're in their 50s. They remember what their childhood was before they left to go work for the NHS. They remember. Now they want to go back to that simpler life. That's why every time a big YouTuber, comes to Africa and goes to visit these countries and showcases how these people live, they get a lot of views. They get thousands of views. There's a reason for that, because there's a whole generation of people out there that are extremely lonely. But they don't realize that Africa has completely changed already, that they can bring their money here and start participating in this economy. Let me play it a little more.
Single lane in Nigeria, and we want to bring it to Oldbridge Bay and then pipe down here. So there are a couple of other investments which we're looking at. Broader investment really is in hundreds of millions of dollars, maybe even up to $1 billion. But we will tell you the amount as we go along. But
like I said, it's only $1 billion, but this triggers a lot. This improves the confidence in the country and in the region. For this man to come and invest in consider a small country like Zimbabwe, it's going to bring overall confidence in that whole region. Already South Africa is part of the BRICS, so that's a big deal already. And Zimbabwe was the little island amongst prosperity around it, because Botswana was stable, Namibia was stable, South Africa was relatively stable. It's kind of violent. So Zimbabwe was the only little island in that neighborhood that was ignored for a long time. But because of him coming to invest, now other investors are going to start sniffing around. They're going to be like, okay, if this man is investing in Zimbabwe, we need to look at this thing again. Because a lot of people are still stuck in time. They still even think that Mugabe is still the president of Zimbabwe. That guy hasn't been president for 7, 8 years now. It's almost a decade since that guy's been in power. We have a whole new generation, a whole new president. The game has changed. The rules have changed. I was in Zimbabwe and I saw so many opportunities, it blew me away. Because that economy is so untapped. It's so so untapped. It's not like South Africa. It's right next door to South Africa. English is the language that they speak over there. But you would think, since it's right next door to South Africa, it should be, somewhat close to being as advanced as South Africa. But it's not. Not yet. There's certain parts, but it could be better. It's got so much potential. It's got less than 20 million people, but I think Zambia is doing a much better job with their economy and with their infrastructure. Zambia's got way more malls than Zimbabwe. It's only a matter of time until some rich, wealthy developers, already there's some rich, wealthy developers in Zimbabwe, but I'm saying it's only a matter of time until other developers watch this content or hear about this guy and start coming in, flooding in, building brand new malls like they did over there in Zambia. The confidence is up. The point I'm trying to make is this. This is just an example of what's coming across the continent. Next might be Malawi. We just had I think there was an election in Malawi, if I'm not mistaken. They just rejected their leader over there in Malawi, so I think they elected a new one. So whoever's coming in as the new leader over there in Malawi is going to see this and going to be like, man, even I want to be like Zimbabwe now. Nobody wants to be left behind, is what I'm trying to say. Mozambique could be the next opportunity. They're going to be people that in Mozambique that are watching their neighbors. Zimbabwe and Mozambique are right next door to each other. They're going to be Mozambican lawmakers and leaders watching this and be like, man, Dangote dropped $1 billion in Zimbabwe. We want some of that. We want some of that. Because they're right by the coast. They're going to be like, we want some of that. It's only a matter of time. This is a game changer. This is such a game changer, you guys don't know. If you guys are ready to invest in Africa, and you need to understand, let me play it while I'm talking. And you need to figure out what kind of niches, what kind of profitable niches you should be getting into. And you need to figure out how to navigate this whole thing. Because you got to look at Africa from a regional perspective, not just from a country's perspective. If I'm going to be investing, especially in the Southern African country, I'm not just going to invest in Zimbabwe. No, I'm going to invest in as many countries as I can in that area. I'm definitely going to invest in Zambia too. You know what I'm saying? That's how you should be looking at it. Not just one country, because the whole game has changed. All thanks to these trade deals that have been happening over the last couple of years, with trade deals with China, plus also trade deals between the African countries. This couldn't happen 20 years ago. This couldn't happen. A Nigerian coming to invest this kind of money in Zimbabwe? This was unheard of. Back then, it would have been some British, company coming in to invest in Zimbabwe, that kind of money. It would have been some French company coming in to drop that kind of money in Zimbabwe. It could have been some American company coming to drop that kind of money. But the Americans are not doing it. The British are not doing it because they're tapped out. The British and the Americans are tapped out. If you're ready to work with the best, you need to figure out what niches you want to get into here in Africa and make your money. Africa is one of the best places right now on the planet to build generational wealth. If you're ready to work with the best, schedule time. I'll put a link in the description of this video. This will be a paid consultation. If you want anything free, just watch the free stuff. Go subscribe to this channel, Africa Reloaded. Go watch all the free stuff. But if you're ready to take action and partner up with somebody that's already on the continent, somebody who's serious. And I only work with people that are serious, which is why my consultations are paid consultations. Otherwise, I can't take you seriously. Schedule time. Talk to you soon.